Okay guys, so today we are starting a brand new game series. As you've seen by the title and the thumbnail of this video, we are going to be attempting to create some sort of survival island game. So ever since I've started game development, I've wanted to create this kind of like an open world survival game where you are stranded on an island and all you have to do is try and harvest different resources like chop down trees and find some fish from, or try and fish in the ocean to feed yourself, and use the chop down trees, use that wood to build either like a raft or a shelter or some kind of or anything you really want. So today this is going to be the start of this attempt to make this some sort of very simplified version of this game. Mainly, I say that mainly because, for starters, I have zero plan for this game, and not only that, I have zero idea on how to make this game. So this is the perfect place to make it on YouTube. So this is going to be the start, episode 1. We're going to go into Unity. I've made a completely blank 3D project, and we are going to go into this project today and mainly just focus on creating a terrain so that we can create some sort of small island. And then we might go into the Unity Assets website to try and look for some assets for like palm trees or some rocks or something to add onto the scene. So the one thing I do know about this game is the kind of like a theme that I want it to be. So I have been looking online and at the asset store, and some of the assets stand out to me, and these are mainly the low poly assets. So let me bring this along this side, and then I'll switch this so you can have a look at what I'm looking at. So I really like the design of the, let me just type it. I did not spell that correctly. So what I like about this, or let's bring it up. I like the look of the low poly design. It's very simple, but it looks quite good. Especially the water. When you get the water done right, like this, it kind of looks really good. So this is what we're going to be focusing on, the design of the game. But we are not obviously going to be using this because this is a paid asset. So we're going to be using mainly free assets for now, and then we might, depending on if we can find things or what we can find, we might use some paid assets. So for now, because we're using free assets, I will put this link in the description if you want to download this project off of GitHub. But because this is the first episode, there's not really going to be much in it. So these are kind of, let me just put low poly, and then you'll see the kind of like the theme that I want to get. Okay, that did not help at all. But anyway, if we go, let's go and search it in Google. So this is kind of the theme. Let's go something like this maybe. So you can see this is kind of the theme that I want. So it doesn't look realistic. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's not very realistic. So it doesn't look like you would be stranded on an actual island in real life. We wanted to kind of look like cartoonish, kind of like this. And then we will see where we go from there. So today's aim is to just get things started, because when you have no plan and you want to make a game, the best thing to do is to just get started. So we're going to start by simply creating some kind of terrain. So what we want, I'm thinking that we're going to start off with one island, and then later on, if we actually get this game to work and it really looks nice, we'll add different islands in the map somewhere. And then what the player could do is they could try and build like a wooden raft or something that they can eventually explore onto the different islands and see what kind of different resources those islands have. But for now, what's this? But for now, don't know what that is. Okay, but for now, we're going to start with one central island where you will be placed on when you start the game. And then the idea is to explore, cut down trees or break trees, and then build things that you want. You might be able to go fishing if we can try and implement that, because eventually what I want to do is you will have to feed yourself, because if you don't, then you'll get hungry and then you'll eventually die. So we'll add in like health status to the actual game for each player and things like that. But because I have no plan, which I probably should do and I'll probably make after this episode, today we're just going to start and try and get some terrain going. So let's see what we have here. So we have a blank terrain over here. This does look fairly big, but I believe it's, I'm just going to spawn a cube into the scene as well, so we can see how big it is. So I'm going to reset that so it puts it on the map. So here's our cube, and you can see how big the terrain is compared to our cube. So that is quite massive, which is kind of good. But I don't really know if we want it to be that big, because it's kind of hard to move around in the scene. You can see that I'm trying to move the editor around, but it's taking forever because it's so big. So we can, you know what, I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Let's go and make it like 0.2 by 0.2 maybe. How do you change the size of the terrain? Nope. Well, this is a great start to it. Can you change the size of the terrain? It was at 1. Let's just look this up in Google. So this is not a very ideal start to our island game generation. So let's see, change the size of terrain in Unity. So we select that, and then window, then click the terrain setting button in the inspector. What? Terrain setting, here we go. Okay, so let's see, basic terrain, where's size? Terrain width. Okay, so width we want, let's make it half, and then half as well. Terrain height, we'll deal with that now. Okay, so here is our cube. It's still quite big, but it's a little bit better. We don't want the island to be so small that because we want you to be able to explore around and also be able to get lost somewhere on the island, because that's will add some sort of difficulty to the game, I think, because then you'll have to eventually find your way back to your base or your campsite. But for now, we'll leave it like this. And then I'm going to get rid of our cube because I don't really think we need it now. But let's go and try and add some texture to the terrain. So I don't think I have any installed. So let's go to Unity Asset Store. And then we can try and look for some assets. So let's see, terrain. Why does it keep doing that? Terrain textures. Okay, so we want it to be low poly. Do they have? Watch them not have any low poly textures. Of course they don't. So that's perfect. So let's see. We might just have to make our entire island out of like rocks and stuff. Let's type island. Nope. I probably should have done research before I started this game, because now we're gonna have to pay for some assets, which I didn't really want to do. Let's see, island. Actually, I might have one downloaded already. Let's look here in Unity. If we go to Package Manager in Unity Registry, we should be able to have a look and see 2D animation. No, it's probably best if we look on here with pictures. So let's go to My Assets, which I believe are over here, My Assets. Is this My Assets? My Assets. Okay, so here are all the ones that are, we could probably use that one. These are all, can you search My Assets? Low poly. So these, we could probably use these ones. The problem is I don't know if these are paid for. Is there a way of checking that? So I'll probably have to make this game private on GitHub. But we'll start off with, you could use something like this. So this is pretty much what I want the game to be themed as, but a little bit more texture or detail to this, because this is quite simple, very plain to be honest. So we'll do something like that. We might add a little bit more texture. We'll have to modify some of the assets a little bit. Let's try this one. These ones are just bunches of trees and rocks. So we'll try something like that as well. But for now, let's go and import our low poly texture. Actually, I don't like these. I remember using these in one of our previous games. I can't remember which one it was. But no, I don't think I put that on YouTube. But I didn't like the look of them. So we will start off with, which one was it? I think it was the one down here. This one's simple. So we'll open this one up and then import this into our project, if it decides to open up. Okay, so simple, low poly. So we'll download this one, add this one into our project, and then we'll see what we can do. So import that. What do we need? We'll import all our materials. We don't really need our, do we need that? Yeah, we'll leave that in. Material, models, our prefabs we'll use, our scenes. We don't really want our scenes because we make our own scenes. And then we'll import the shaders. Okay, so we'll import all of those. That shouldn't take too long. So I'll add in a few. Has it imported that? We'll get rid of that. Okay, so here it is. So here, the material, model, prefabs. Okay, let's see, materials. Oh, we're not going to be able to use this now because I'm in the wrong project. That's a problem. We're going to have to create an entirely new project, which is annoying. Let's see if some of the assets work. Yeah, they're not going to work with this render pipeline. So I'm going to have to change the project to the older version, unless there is a different way to fix that. I'll do some research into that. But you can see that's the size of what one of our rocks would look like on our massive square island for now. So this is going to be an island. We're going to shape it differently so it doesn't look like a square. And then we'll add some mountain range, probably not a mountain, but like a kind of like a fairly massive, not massive, but fairly big little hill, so that the player can explore it. And we'll probably add in like some caves or something eventually, so you can get like different resources from the cave, like different rocks and stuff, and you can use those rocks to make different things. And then we'll add some trees around the scene as well, so that the player can break them down and use it to make like a house probably, or use it to light a fire, to burn a fire, and then maybe to use it to make like a dock, and then eventually a boat or something like that. So we'll work on all of those things. So this is not going to be a simple small project. So this, as well as our game that we're currently working on now, which is, what is it called, our Cube Quest game. We're going to flip between these two games, and these two games are going to probably run a long time because it's not going to be like a set 10 episodes like some of our previous game episodes were, or game series. So these two games are going to run a lot longer because we want to make them, probably not going to release them to the public, but we want to make them look nice, and then so that it actually is like kind of playable. So maybe we'll put it on itch.io if it turns out to be decent. But we'll carry on working on these two games for a while, and then while we do these two, I think what I need to do is to get back to our Tetris game because I completely forgot about that. I need to try and finish that. So let's get rid of our rock for now. Delete that, and let's go and try and make some mountains. So here you can see if we use our terrain, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to import this asset here just so we can see some kind of texture on our terrain. So we'll open this one up in our project, and then we'll add it to, hopefully it works with this project. So we're not going to use our scenes. So we don't need our demo texture. We'll just import that. And then that way we'll add one of our textures to our terrain so that we can see it. So on our terrain, let's go to our materials. No, it's not going to work. Come on. Let's try one of these. It's not going to work, is it? I'm going to have to change back to one of the... I thought by using the new version would be better. Let's see, what does it say? Shader properties can't be added in this global property sheet. Try to add grab texture text. I don't know what that means. That's so annoying. Because I have to create an entirely new project and delete the one off GitHub and add a completely new one. So that's going to be fun. Let's see. I'm just going to look this up because there might be a solution on the internet. Unity material are pink. Hi everyone, so I recently purchased an asset pack, so I imported it. Yeah, you need to add the textures to the materials used by the object. Oh, that makes sense. I checked the materials texture and it looks like it's linked. Oh, I found it. I had to change the shader settings from standard. Shader settings. Let's go to shader settings. Unity settings. This might fix everything. Shader graph. Shader settings from standard to lightweight pipeline. So that's probably not it. Let's go to build settings and then, nope, that's not it. It's probably not on the shader graph, no. Now this is a hunt for, I've never changed any shader settings. So let's see, shader settings. Or on this one, terrain maybe. I can't see shader settings. It's probably best to just look it up. Unity shader settings. Okay, let's try that. Materials, let's see. Nope, that doesn't work. That's not going to properties, maybe. Nope. Clearly that's not working. Okay, well, I'm not going to bore you guys because this is boring trying to figure this out. So I'm going to go figure that out, and this will put an end to our very boring but pointless episode 1 of our island survival game, because we didn't really do much, but I probably should have done some research. This is why you do research before you make games. So I'm going to go do that, and then maybe in the next episode, depending on if it's this game or our Cube Quest, we will fix this issue, assuming I've solved it, and then we will get back to trying to create some kind of simple but yet trying to make a fun island for our game. So that's it for today. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.